What's up, guys? My name is Will Blair, and this is my video demo of my project called Morning Brief. So, Morning Brief is a news aggregation automation that essentially it scans a bunch of news websites and then summarizes all the most important stories, and then converts that text into an audio format. And the reason that I made this automation is because I wanted to read news while making breakfast at the same time. I was kind of getting annoyed that I couldn't like look at Wall Street Journal or look at New York Times and be able to cook breakfast. I wanted to just put in my headphones and like hear the most relevant news stories that day. So that's kind of what inspired me to build this automation. And yeah, from here I'll just kind of demonstrate it first, demonstrate the functionality, and then I'll spend the rest of the time going through each individual steps. I think that it's important for you to watch and see all the individual steps because there's a lot of minute details that I spent a lot of time trying to figure out. And yeah, without further ado, let's just test it out. So right now it's started, it scans all the websites. It's going to merge all the data from that it gets from that website into one. I'm going to do some formatting over here. It sends it to an LLM chain to summarize it. So more formatting. This sends it to Google Cloud Text-to-Speech API. And the last node is this over here. So, and this just takes base64 audio, which is like encoded base64, and then turns it into a downloadable MP3. So it's downloaded.
Today's news has highlighted several significant
And
events
it's
across
playing in my
global
Apple
events,
Music. So
reflecting both economic and geopolitical dynamics. Here's a summary of the top stories that emerge. One of the most noteworthy developments is the wage agreement reached by South Africa's largest motor industry union, which has signed a deal to secure above-inflation wage increases for its 90,000 members.
So as you can see, it's a South African wage agreement. That's relevant news. I'm just going to show you that. Uh, so as you can see, like this is news from 2 hours ago. And that just kind of shows that it's like live updating. Um, Anyways, so to go into how this whole thing works. So this is a scheduled trigger. This triggers every morning at 7 a.m. And it'll read all the news stories of that day, and then it'll come over here. These are all the news sites. So this is like a Google News website. There's New York Times. We have CNBC. We have Market Watch. We have Bloomberg. So these are I try to do like the main non-biased business news websites, because that's the news that I'm most interested in general. Now we have a merge node over here. And then after the merge, I had to do some like formatting just to make sure that all the text that I was sending into the LLM was relevant and I wasn't going to waste tokens, like processing data that I could just filter out automatically. And then this is the LLM input. So as you can see here, there's a large blob of text. And that would take forever to read. And that also has like a bunch of weird data that, you know, we're not even going to care about. We don't want to hear it in our text to speech. And we just really want a summary of the news. So what this does is uh, it prompts an LLM to create a summary of like all that giant text of data. And we're going to take that summary and eventually send it into an audio processing text to speech node. So here's the prompt. Um, so you can read this prompt. You can pause the video right now and read this prompt. I spent a lot of time kind of refining it and testing it, just making sure that um, everything worked. I was having some issues. A lot of this comes down to the formatting and, avoiding things that you don't want to hear in your own ears, right? So there will be things like don't output like these type of characters, focus on specific events, identify the most impactful news stories, et cetera, et cetera. Just so that I'm hearing the most up-to-date, accurate, relevant information. Um, so that gets sent into the LLM with this prompt, and it outputs this text over here. So this text is a summary. So this code node is some more formatting, um, and it replaces new lines with spaces and escape quotes. So that's essentially a new line to a computer is /n. And obviously, when we're listening to something talk, we don't want to hear it say /n. So that just automatically removes all that stuff. And this right here is a HTTP request node. This sends that summary that we got from the LLM into the Google Cloud text-to-speech API. So I pulled up the tab of it right here. This essentially just turns text into audio. Um, High fidelity speech, wide voice selection, one of a kind voice, et cetera, et cetera. You get the picture. And yeah, so it just takes this input over here. This sets the voice, the language, the configuration, and it outputs a base 64 audio encoded, a base 64 encoded output, excuse me. And yeah, after that, there's another code node that just takes that encoded base 64, outputs it as MP3. And like you saw earlier in the video, that's when it outputted over here, this download button. Um, and that's where we download the audio clip, and that will automatically open in Apple Music. This is what we were just playing here. Um, and yeah, so I just wanted to come on here and demonstrate this project that I'm doing. It solves a real problem in my life. And yeah, I mean, it just came from me wanting to listen to the news while making breakfast, and now I can, just put in my headphones, have an audio recording, get a quick blip of the news every morning. So yeah, call it morning brief. That's about it. Thanks.